Hey everybody, it's TheCandidCamperr, and we got special guest Tones, and today we are going to talk House of the Dragons episode 1. Yes, I am late to the show. I know I don't need to hear it in the comments. Oh, we're only on season 2. We know exactly how that's going to go. But guess what? We're going to get there. So we're going to start off one episode at a time. I'm going to probably put these out once a week so you can kind of see my reactions. I'm going to have Tones be my guide through this whole thing. I am not good with names, so if I mess up on a name, he has my back. If I mess up on a name, you're probably going to let me hear about it anyways. I know how you guys are. Tones has a really big TikTok and YouTube based off House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones. So once again, he's the expert here. I'm just the new guy coming into this magical world. And yeah, Tones, kick it off. Let them know where they can find you and what you're about.
Yeah, guys. I do House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones content mostly as of right now. I do other shows, but because a lot of people watch my stuff for my takes on House of the Dragon, we are currently doing a House of the Dragon a season 2 breakdowns for each episode. We go on live for TikTok. We bring people up to talk about how they interpreted the show, stuff like that. So if you guys want to follow me on TikTok, Tones_TV. And if you guys want to follow me on any of social medias, Tones_TV on all platforms. If you guys want to see full breakdowns of episodes and news about other shows and movies, please go to my YouTube channel, which is Bad Thoughts Studio on YouTube. So yeah, go check it out. We do all kinds of stuff, but as of right now, just a lot of House of the Dragon content. Like I said, most of the people who follow me, they love my takes on that. So
awesome. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Make sure you go follow him. I have all his stuff down in the link below. So all right, dude, so here we go. This is let's get into it. This is a prequel to Game of Thrones. It has been on everyone's watch list. Here's a breakdown and all the key moments and about all the characters.
Real quick, because a lot of people they misinterpret the word prequel. Technically, it's a prequel because it is before the events of Game of Thrones, but it
How
is
many
not
years, by the way?
172 years before the events of Game of Thrones. But the thing that people think it's a prequel, as in it's a spin-off show of Game of Thrones. It's not. It's a completely different story. A lot of people don't watch this show because of what happened in Game of Thrones season 8, because they thought it's the same writers, they thought it's the same directors and all that stuff. So people who haven't seen season 1 yet of House of the Dragon, we're about to go over episode 1 right now for you guys, but make sure you guys go in with the mindset of this is a completely different storyline. The director is very, very different from what we got from Game of Thrones. So you guys could throw all that out, because this story was written by George R. Martin, which the events of Game of Thrones season 8 and season 7, those were not written by George R. Martin. So I want you guys just to keep in mind as you guys go into House of the Dragon.
Yeah, and you could tell the difference right away. Like first episode, you could tell that they are separate. Same universe, obviously, but just a total different story. It just even feels different. Even the writing and the way everything's filmed is different. The sets even feel like they're different. Dude,
and that it's weird that you bring. It's funny you bring that up, because these sets are. They're not just regular sets, CGI sets. These are actual on-site built sets that they did for the show. And that was the difference between Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. Not that Game of Thrones had, CGI all the time, but they have more up-to-date stuff, because it's been like years since Game of Thrones came out. So there's more up-to-date stuff, up-to-date scenes, up-to-date sites that they go on and actually build. They build these castles and everything, dude. So none of this shit is fake. It's crazy. That's what separates a franchise like House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones compared to anything else.
I was just gonna say, to anything I've ever seen, and that's just episode 1 for me. I was in awe. I think I called you. I'm like, dude, this is amazing. It's gorgeous. One thing before we start, because I want to get into this. How's it feel to actually be on a podcast with me talking Game of Thrones? Or
it's weird. I'm not gonna lie. It's fucking weird. And for those who are listening, I've been doing House of the Dragon content for 3 years now, and Candid, not that he doesn't like the show, it's not usually his niche that he likes to watch or his genre of TV shows, but he's watching it because he's actually interested in the show. That's what separates a viewer as well. Like you seen a couple things from House of the Dragon and you got interested in it. And of course, I'm begging you to fucking watch it, but that's besides the point.
Yeah. And once again, this is all, I just want to put this out there because I know this is something I've heard multiple times from Tony's streams. This is based off of the show, not the book. And
Yeah.
I've been hearing it on my other content on the Marvel stuff. This is not the comics, it's the shows, it's the MCU. This is the same situation. I never read the books. I'm putting that out there again. Once again, everybody out there, I've never read the books. Will I read the books? Hell yeah, probably. Just based off of this one episode, I'm probably gonna jump into the books. I love reading, but this is all about the show. So let me get into it a little bit. Episode 1 opens basically with a killer introduction to the Targaryen dynasty, setting the stage for the power and struggles, intense drama that's going to be happening within the show. We're introduced to the king, what's it, Viserys, which is a Targaryen who must choose an heir to the throne, to the Iron Throne. He spikes a fierce feud within the family, which is just crazy. Right away, right in the beginning, you're like, oh shit, this is about to take the path that I know it's going to take. And then guess who walks in the room? You have the prince, and there's just so much more to it. And once I've seen it's weird because I almost felt like I've seen this before. Like I
Mhm.
felt the storyline, and then it kind of keeps going. You're like, there is differences between the traditional basic story and then how this was written.
Yeah.
And you kind of know still there's still a premise. You're still like, cool, he's not gonna get it because he's a dick. She's gonna get it because she's the firstborn daughter, but technically everyone's gonna be mad at that. And you know that's gonna happen. I do anyways. I'm one people that don't know me, I can view the future of movies and people hate me for it, but I just figured most of it out. I know there's gonna be more that I haven't figured out. Go ahead, Jones.
Yeah. Now I was gonna say most of the people who get this mixed up is Viserys, who is the who is king in episode 1. He gets chosen as the king from Jaehaerys, who was the king before him, because he did have heirs, he did have sons. They all had died within before those events.
Mm,
So he chose to have the council choose who they wanted to be next up, because he knew if he chose the Rhaenys, who was the
yes.
woman in the situation, he knew if he chose her, it would mix up a whole bunch of stuff within the realm, within the council, within everything, because she is a woman, and unfortunately, that's the events in House of the Dragon. He knew what would happen, so he said to himself, "What would still have peace in the realm, but not to where I pick the heir." And so he chose the council to do it, and of course, they chose. He knew what he was doing. He knew that they were going to
It's
choose.
Harrenhal, right? How do you pronounce
No,
it?
Harrenhal,
What's the
but
count? Harrenhal, but that's the council, right?
no,
Council Harrenhal.
Harrenhal is just it's a city inside Westeros.
Oh, okay, got you.
That's where that was set at, was at Harrenhal. They were at
Oh,
Harrenhal.
okay, got you. And that's when they brought in the whole
Yeah.
console. What with the That's where you kind of meet that priest guy. I can't remember his name. He's like looks like a priest, kind of. He's the one that helped deliver the baby. And
Yes.
then okay, and then you
He's
get to
he's
meet
the
the.
he's the maester. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, so the whole events of that happening because they needed a man on the throne, and just to kind of keep people at peace, and because they were used to a male on the throne, so that's why they did it that way.
So and then kind of filling that in, the crazy part was that Renice, which was the queen who
Never
never
was, yeah.
was. Yeah. How come they did skip her? I didn't catch that. What was the reason for skipping her? They kind of just went by it a little bit.
So they skipped her because she was a woman, pretty much.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. Um, like I said, the reasons of having a male on the throne and not picking her, like if he picked her to be his heir, it would have stirred up. You'll see the events in this show.
So more than picking the prince.
Yeah, so he's a prince, but he's the next in line because he's the male. But she technically, because she's first, she's older, she's the she
Actual queen.
I'm not sure if she is the daughter of Jaehaerys, which is the king in that first scene. I'm not sure if she was the daughter or the niece. I think she was the niece of Jaehaerys.
But she still
But
had a higher title than
she was
prince.
she was first in line before
Okay.
Viserys,
Okay.
technically. But because of her being a female, and a female's never sat on the Iron Throne,
Mhm.
they had to do it that way. And he knew, once he chose the council to kind of vote on who the next king would be, he knew what he was doing pretty much, because
Okay.
he knew the events of what would happen if she were to sit on the Iron Throne.
Yeah, and another cool thing was like I love how they just kind of brought all the characters in at one time. Like I felt like I've gotten to meet everybody within the first episode
Pretty
and
much,
got a
yeah.
little bit of a backstory, but it wasn't to the point where I felt like it was drug out or there wasn't enough action. And they didn't over explain things, which was awesome. Like I love that there was some mystery and it kept me wanting to watch more and more. Um and another very interesting one was the brother, Prince Damon. Um he's interesting to me, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of stuff coming up in episode 2, which um, I feel like there's going to be a lot of things, and I feel like he's going to play a pretty big role. Which I love that you're sitting here on the other side of that, knowing what's going to happen, and I love not knowing. So, but yeah, no, I think it was really cool, and for them to sit there and kind of, I feel like the king he doesn't speak his mind enough. I feel like he sits back and let everyone else kind of dictate and run things because he wants to make sure everyone's happy. But at the same time, he knows in his head what he really wants. And I know he doesn't want his brother on the throne, but I think he still rather have his brother than a woman. But I think as the episode went on, he kind of started realizing like maybe I did make the better choice. And I'm assuming in episode 2, you'll see a lot more of like, okay, yeah, you know what, my brother, I'm glad I didn't pick him, and I'm glad that I'm going with my daughter. Um, but I felt like another thing too is that they're so worried about naming her the queen. And when they went and said that she's going to be the queen, no one really reacted like, "Oh wow, a woman." And do you think that's because they already kind of had in their head like, "Hey, the king has to remarry, and hopefully he'll have a son, and then we're gonna switch over to a new king anyways." They're just gonna kind of let that run out.
Yeah. So in the first episode, if I remember correctly, um, it ends with um, well, I don't want to hold on. We'll get to
Yeah.
that. But Damon is the rightful heir to the throne,
Mhm.
pretty much. And it's kind of hard to talk about episode 1 without talking about episode 2 because there's so much that goes into it. But technically, because Viserys doesn't have a son, the next in line would be Damon, which is Viserys's brother.
Mhm.
Um, but Viserys doesn't trust his brother because of all the stuff he's done over the years, and he's always had his own mind. He's always done his own thing,
Kind of like a little
uh,
tyrant in a little bit.
in a way. But at the same time, Damon wants respect that he hasn't gotten from his brother.
He seems very he doesn't mean I feel like he means well. It just comes off like left field because of the way he takes it upon himself to do things. And
Yeah,
he's not by the book. There you go. He's not by the book. But
yeah,
he doesn't want
exactly.
to tear things down. He's not trying to ruin the kingdom. He just wants to be more advanced than what the king is. The
Yeah, he just
the
want
king
his
sits at a standstill.
he just wants his respect, bro. That's as simple.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Because if he doesn't get the respect, see, I can't go that far. But
Mhm.
from what we've seen, and Damon he likes to do his own thing. He has he runs the King's the Gold Cloaks in episode 1,
Yeah.
and he does his thing. But at the same time, it's like he wants more than just running the Gold Cloaks. Like, he wants more than that. So eventually you'll see what comes within this show, within this season 1. But he just wants respect, bro. He's tired of being he's tired of being told what to do instead of guiding Viserys in the right way of what he could do. And it sucks for him because he doesn't have that trust from his own brother.
Yeah, and the thing is that they told him to go out there and make that army, help out and everything, and then he went and did exactly what they wanted to do. Yeah, he did a little bit on a little bit more violently, but he didn't go against what anybody asked him to do, and they still got mad at him. They went in, he struck fear. Now everyone feared them. That's how it was. I feel like there's no fear in the kingdom, and
Yeah,
that's where he wants to come in like, hey, you know what, people aren't listening. There's all these people that were stealing and they're wreaking havoc down below, and you're only worried about what's happening in your kingdom or inside your actual castle walls.
yeah.
And he went out there and did exactly what was needed. And I didn't see anything wrong with that, honestly. I think that these people needed to be their fingers chopped off, their hands chopped off, and guess what? They're not going to do again. They're not going to steal. And also showed that everyone else in that town, like, hey, dude, we are back. We're stronger than ever, and we need to get right back on the right page.
Yeah.
So I could see that being an issue coming up in the next couple episodes. I wish they went into the daughter a little bit more, but I get it. She had her friend. What was her name? Her best
Allison.
friend, Allison. There we go. And I'm assuming she gets really close to the king. I've kind of got a little bit of a what if kind of thing going on. So don't spoil it for me. But then her dad, God, that fucking guy, man. If I cannot dislike anybody more on this in this show so far, except for that fucking guy. What is his name, dude?
Otto Hightower.
Otto. Yeah, fuck that guy. Always in the little ear. He looks like a little fucking rat. Like a little. Oh, hey, don't do that. But definitely do that because it benefits me. So he's not trustworthy to me, but he's also not too misleading. So he's still not gonna wrong the king, not that I know if he doesn't wrong the king, but he still tries to steer the king's direction into the way he wants it to go. And what I'm gaining from this is that he put his daughter into that room for a reason after his wife died, so that he can kind of try to
Was
gain
that
some of
episode
that.
one?
That is episode 1. It's at the ending. Remember, he told her to go sit with him.
Okay, I didn't remember that being an
Yeah,
episode. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I told him to go sit there, and then I think whatever. Anyways, so I
Yeah.
feel like he's onto something. He's doing something, and then how much he was basically saying like, "Hey, we don't need the brother here. We don't need your brother here. Like, make him go do this." And then the king's like, "We already had him do all this other stuff. Like, what the fuck else do you want him to do?"
Yeah,
And well,
exactly.
have him go do this. Go fucking clean shoes. Okay. So I don't know, man. I feel like there's a lot of political intrigue here and a lot of family drama that's already starting in episode 1, and it really draws you in. And the path, I could say the thing I love the most is that there's multiple characters and there's going to be multiple story angles and arcs. And I think that's very intriguing. And I love that in a storyline because it can't always be about the main character. Yes, there's a main character here, but there's many main characters too. And they
Yeah.
have their own side stories and they're well done. It's almost like a Tarantino movie where you have this whole other piece working in its own, and then it blends in. And they've done a great job so far in episode 1 of blending in. If I was to rate episode 1, I'm gonna give it an 8.5 right now, just because it's
Cool.
visually stunning. Yeah, visually stunning. It has everything that I'm looking for in a show. I love how much money they put into this. Like you can tell there was no expense. Like, dude, if we need that dragonfly to be a real dragonfly, they float into fucking dragonfly hell or wherever the fuck they come from. Like, boom, real dragonfly, and you got that out of this show so far. All the characters look amazing. They all play their part very well. Um, it's just written very, very cleanly. There's no, I didn't feel like there's any gaps in anything except
Yeah.
for the queen part. That was only feel like I kind of didn't really realize. Maybe I missed something, but I didn't leave. I didn't leave wondering what the fuck I just watched. I left wondering like, fuck, what's next? And that just starts off a really good show for me. So I'm definitely all in on this. I will definitely watch episode 2 and continue the series. Makes me want to go back and watch Game of Thrones, but I'm gonna say this, and I'm probably gonna get there's going to be the biggest controversial hate on this whole world. So far, even though I only watched 1 episode, I like this better than Game of Thrones.
See, I mean, it's totally up to you. A lot of people ask me this question: what is better, House of the Dragon or Game of Thrones? House of the Dragon is a better TV show aesthetically, visually,
Mhm.
everything, because they have sets that are 10 times better than what people in Game of Thrones used. They have
Mhm.
a very different. It's a very different show, so you can't really look at it like that. If I had to pick one, it would be Game of Thrones as of right now, just because of the storyline, and there's more to Game of Thrones. There's more
Mhm.
seasons and all that shit. But House of the Dragon has a for sure easy path to be able to be better than Game of Thrones.
I'm just
For
liking the way it just started off fast and it's I don't know. I think it's just more the characters are more not relatable, obviously, because I'm not going around being a king chopping heads off.
sure.
But I feel like there's more. I feel like I'm more ready to be set into this world. even though it's
Hmm.
the same technically same world. It just has more meaning, and I don't know. I just feel like it's the beginning of what we want. Where how or Game of Thrones kind of was just like, here you go, that you're here. This is what's happening. This is over there. They're fighting these people, and it's gonna be a shit show. This is like cool. Let's lead up to the shit show, and I like
The,
that.
the one thing that I will warn you about is not, this is not necessarily a spoiler, but this first season is very political. It's a very
Mhm.
political season, so
I could tell.
be prepared for that. There, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of action scenes, but not ones you're thinking of, because it's just a political season. So just keep that in mind as you're watching.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I feel like this is great. I'm on board, and I'm gonna start watching episode 2, and I'll probably get that out whenever you guys are watching this. It'll probably be 3 to 4 days after. If you like this kind of content I'm doing, let me know in the content comments below. There we go. I got this. I haven't done this for a while. In the comments below, I'm still gonna do the trailer reactions and everything like that on here, and just reactions in general. That's kind of the shift we're going to, and yeah. So House of the Dragon, man. I'm in. How's it feel?
Yes, sir. It feels good, bro. Hopefully you can catch up by the time season two's done. And but I doubt it. But you're like I said, you're gonna love this season. You're already liking the first two episodes, which is um a good sign. It's a very good sign. You're gonna get a lot of cool stuff this season, and you get to see dragons, bro. Like the way they did dragons in season one was phenomenal. Like we were wanting that in Game of Thrones, that that dragon flying, and just dragon riding. We didn't get much of that in Game of Thrones. We got, don't get me wrong, we got some, just
Yeah,
not
but it
as
waited. It was at the end of almost at the
exactly.
end, and it was literally like one shot, and then they would be on the floor on the ground.
Exactly. So
So
you'll definitely get more of that in season one.
awesome. Yeah. Before we head out, can you once again tell them where they can find you?
Yeah, guys, find me on social media, tones_TV on all platforms. Like I said about my TikTok, we have lives every Sunday before and after each episode. So if you guys want to come check that out, go to tones_TV. We bring people on talking about the episode. We have a little panel. So we have a cool little community over there. So make sure you guys go follow me. If you guys want to follow my YouTube, where I do bigger reactions to trailers and movies, and we do breakdowns for each episode of House of the Dragon. Go to Bad Thoughts Studio on YouTube.
Sweet, thanks. And once again, we're going to link all that below in the comments. Also, once again, follow me. I'm TheCandidCamperr. You can see me here on YouTube. You can follow me now on TikTok, where I do kind of just random stuff over there. Same thing, but random. So go ahead and drop me a like and subscribe over there, or what do they call it now? They don't call it subscribing. What do they call
Follow.
that? Follow. Yeah, there you go. See, I'm still getting it down. So go ahead and follow me over there, and then you can see me on X and then Instagram. Once again, this is my first episode of House of Dragon. I can't wait to jump into it. If anybody wants to join and join us on the panel throughout the whole season or any of the episodes, just let me know in the comments or DM me. I think it'll be awesome. This is a huge community that I'm happy to be finally getting to be a part of, if they accept me, obviously. But yeah, I'm ready to rock. Let me know how you feel. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.